You're welcome back to the Lab podcast, where we speak about all kinds of things that we find interesting. And what we find interesting this week is a stab at our thoughts on what makes hyper-efficient teams. We all know that we want to be as efficient as possible, but I kind of see efficiency as a Pareto distribution curve. It's something that becomes more efficient. The more efficient you become, the more efficient you become. You accelerate faster and faster. It's not an incremental growth, it's an exponential growth, actually, because you find ways of doing one task faster and faster than you ever have before. So I prepared a couple of thoughts that I'd shared with you just before this, 4 main points, and I think we both agree on those, and maybe we can dissect those for the people
to understand.
Yeah. So one of my things that I have noticed over the years of building different teams is having an appreciation for diversity of people. We know we are actually a super diverse team, not only from a cultural perspective, but just from thinking and skill sets.
True.
So I wanted to hear your thoughts on that, because I believe that having a team that's got a diverse skill set is super helpful. I always thought in the initial stages of my, let's say, we'll call it work career, that I would need to always replicate myself, have people that are exactly like me, that copy what I do. And now I noticed, people that do things in a completely different way to me actually are better than me at those tasks. And I think a lot of the time we draw the wrong conclusion that our way is the highway, that we always know best. But I've really learned and seen, especially in the current format that we have in a team now, there are people that do things completely different to me. And it's taken a lot of humility that I haven't always had to be able to step back and say, maybe that different way of doing it is good. Let me give it a chance. I don't know how you feel about that.
They've been said you would at least assign them to different roles that they would at least accomplish, which you might have trouble to do in your way of doing things. With respecting people's diversity, you can at least see how different they are and how different things or different journeys or ways you can actually accomplish things to set target or goals. If they've been said, you also have to respect their difference in a way to actually respect that. They would say these accomplish a lot of things together. Yeah.
So I suppose the key word for you there is respect, or respect. So respect in the workplace, respecting your teams, and what that means is accepting, acknowledging, and perhaps encouraging different ways of doing things or different kinds of people.
Yeah, true.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's have a look at the next point that I wrote down, and that's highest energy wins. This one's a clear one for me. Having been a person who was a freelancer long before I ever started doing something with a team, I was very used to working for myself. I suppose that's what a lot of this conversation is about, is learning what teamwork is learning how not to do things only for yourself, by yourself, but for a team, with a team. And I would say highest energy wins. I can remember the days of having employed the first couple people ever and getting onto a Zoom call early in the morning. It's just
quite quiet.
Dead still.
Okay.
And I would say highest energy wins. As a leader of the team, and maybe this is more advice for a leader of a team than it is for the team overall. Or in fact, actually the team overall. Always try and come with the highest energy. Because first of all, you open opportunities for yourself. But secondly, as a leader of a team, that's the only way you encourage people. You can't wait for everyone else to come with their energy. So I think every Zoom call, every project that you guys start, every strategy session that you have with a team, every time you're leading a group of people, you need to come with the highest energy, because that wins, and ultimately people will follow that. I don't know what you feel about that.
Yeah, man, I've seen with you lately, when you do the whole team's meeting and stand up, you actually come with a lot of energy. It does actually push us to also gain confidence, also get that same energy. What you put out, it's what you're actually going to get back.
Yeah, imagine joining a work call and then the guy who's leading the project is like,
Hi guys,
hey,
how are you?
Good.
What's up for today?
Yeah. Have you finished your tickets? Yeah, that'll be whack.
Yeah.
Hey, morning guys, how's it going? Cool. Guys, we're tracking really, really great on this project.
Yeah.
The client is happy, and wow, and the acceleration in your guys' growth that I've seen is epic. So I just wanted to check in. Let's go through the tickets. Let's see what we're doing. What's coming up in our next sprint?
True.
All of a sudden you're joining in, and you're like, oh wow, you attach yourself to that energy.
Push to actually complete the project.
Yeah.
Come up with a few fresh ideas. Actually, okay, this is how we can be able to implement it.
Yeah.
Because it gave off that energy. Okay, yes, guys. look forward to another day coming back to work.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so highest energy wins is probably point number 2 for us. Looking at point number 3, micromanage. What comes to mind when you hear that word, micromanage? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
Having someone just like on my neck, like, hey,
what you doing?
You gotta do this. You gotta do this. You gotta do this. That's micromanaging for me.
Okay, so I think that's probably what a lot of people think. Micromanaging has become, the term micromanage or micromanaging has become this term that we like stay abstinent from. We think it's like this super terrible thing. And I suppose in the sense of what you had just mentioned, I agree. You don't want to be creeping up someone's neck, watching over their shoulder every time they're working, being invasive in their workflow. But I think what that has done is created this cultural shift in the workplace that people are no longer wanting to manage full stop. So they no longer ask, what's happening, what are you working on,
some way
can I help
you?
you?
Like assist to get projects done.
Yeah.
Most people really shy away, like you said.
Yeah.
And like actually kills the whole project.
Yeah. And that's where I agree with you. So I think it's really valuable to stop people in your team, especially if you're a team leader, and say, hey, what's happening? How can I help you? And that sometimes might even anger them or frustrate them because they're in the middle of something that they're working on, and you say, hey, could you take 5 minutes of time to speak with me? But it's your responsibility as a team leader to be able to understand where the project is going and what needs to be done to be able to get it there. So I think we shouldn't, shy away from engaging with our team on a regular basis. And that's across the hierarchy. It could be people in the same team at the same level, a number of developers speaking to each other, a number of designers speaking to one another, a number of managers speaking to one another to say, hey, stop for a second. Can you tell me about what you're doing? I might want to learn something from you, or I think I have something to contribute to you. We shouldn't shy away from being able to have that kind of open communication. And I think that's what that term micromanaging has done, is kind of ridden any kind of senior people of the opportunity to add or contribute meaningfully to what some of their team is working on.
But like with some senior management, they don't really know how to micromanage. They want to come with that forceful, okay, I'm in the senior position, you need to do this, you need to do this.
Yeah.
If you're able to at least come with a point of like, okay, we're working together with this one, this is how I'm able to assist. How can we assist you to do better within your job? That's much more way better than like having a certain attitude towards micromanagement.
Yeah. So what would you say are some of the key points that you would appreciate if someone came to you, let's say a person who manages you on a project or that you report to, what would you appreciate in how you would expect someone to approach you that you respond in a nice way?
I'd say like have an open mind towards situations. Talk about it, see how far I've been through this whole project. How is he able to assist? How I'm able to also bring in a certain input and actually engage each other on the topic.
Okay, cool. Sweet. And then I think our last point that we had discussed previously is around technology. So I interact with a lot of people on a daily basis, and I've seen far too many people still working on WhatsApp groups and Excel spreadsheets. And not even Excel spreadsheets that are saved on like OneDrive or SharePoint with Microsoft, but Excel spreadsheets that are being sent back and forth on WhatsApp in a group. So
which is outdated.
So what's your take? I know you use a couple technologies on the projects you work on.
Like I can mention a few. We're currently using Slack, Jira as well to track certain projects, which is quite helpful in WhatsApp and all the other things.
Why? What about it has helped your workflow and increased your productivity?
Like I don't really need to travel out or go to a certain office when I need to speak to someone. I can just sit there on Slack, hit a huddle, get quick response, quick sharing of information or certain projects. Everything can just be transferred. Anyone can like actually track where everyone's doing or what I need to do within this specific things.
I'm glad that you are getting value out of that. So Slack, obviously, we all know it as the digital HQ. It's a great way to communicate. I asked someone the other day on our team, and I said, what comes to mind when you hear the word Slack? And they said, WhatsApp for work. And it's kind of, in my eyes, WhatsApp on steroids. It's a digital communication tool. It's not a project management tool. That's Jira or Monday.com or Trello or something like that. But you need to be able to utilize those tools to communicate. And then I think also, enabling each person in a team to manage their workload. and to plan their productivity. So you have your communication tool, your communication hub being Slack. You might use Microsoft Teams. They've built a great tool there as well. Then you have your project management software such as Jira, where you track tickets and you get an overall view of the scope of work promised to the customer, but in bite-sized chunks of the work that needs to be done by individual team members. But over and above that, you need to be able to, as a person on an individual level, have an idea of what you need to do and plan your workload for yourself. No one else can do that for you. So that'll probably be my last tip to building a successful team is it comes down to the individual being responsible for their own tasks as well. Now, I think what works for me there is I pull out all of my tickets that I'm working on something like Jira, and I move them at this point in time into Apple Reminders, which is actually pretty functional. It works really well.
I was going to say, the beauty of all these apps that you're talking about, you can actually link them
100%.
to it synchronized.
Yeah, integrations are the key to the future, I think. So yeah, you can do that with pretty much anything. I know Jira has a huge integration and app marketplace. I don't know if that's the right word, but you're able to integrate so many different things. Google Calendar in with Jira so that it pulls your Jira tickets and dates into your Google Calendar, and thus your Google Tasks to be able to see what you need to do. You have a whole lot of integration tools that you can use, like Zapier or Flowgear, so that you can connect little components to one another. So yeah, I would just say doing a little bit of research on the kind of tools that are out there and making use of them, but then also taking an individual responsibility for the work that you have to do on a given day or in a given week to make sure that you're assisting your team, because no one likes having that guy that's pulling you down in your team, like the age-old thing we had in school.
True.
Sick. Awesome. Thanks, Yandisa, for joining me.
It's been a pleasure.
Great conversation. And yeah, if you want to ask us a little bit about how to optimize your workflow, or are interested in any of the other interesting services that we offer, hit us up. Visit us on the-laboratory.com and hit us up. Cool. Check you in the next episode.